All right, Super Bowl Sunday is here. Here we go.
Yes,
Here we
sir.
go. It's gonna be a great one. Chiefs and Eagles here for Super Bowl 57. Excited to come back and talk to you guys again. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. It's your boy G and Alec, ready for another great episode. A lot of fun stuff to get into. Going to recap what happened leading up to this game. Going to look at the Super Bowl halftime show and Rihanna, what's going on there. Some deep dives on what's going to be going on. I want to celebrate our black QBs, as they pointed out that we're having Hurts versus Mahomes. The first time we're having two black quarterbacks leading the way. A lot of good stuff going on with the pod. Excited to talk with you guys today. Subscribe to the show and all that good stuff for us. And yeah, we're ready to jump into it. So let's do it. I'm torn, man. I'm torn.
What you torn about?
So, obviously, as I pointed out a few times now, I'm in the Eagles' house right now. My dad's real passionate about the Eagles.
Yeah, you guys love
trying to push
this
into my head for a while now. I have to go for the Eagles. But Mahomes is such an X factor that I don't know. So we're gonna jump into our preview right now. Talk about what we think is gonna go on. But I really have been split on my pick. I've been going back and forth for these 2 weeks now. I'm heading into it. Before we fully get there, though, just want to look back at what led us to this moment. In the championship games, the Eagles beat the Niners 31-7. It was a beatdown. As soon as Purdy went down, as soon as he had his injury, the game was over. They couldn't recover with Josh Johnson, who came in as the backup, who hurt himself. And then they were scrambling for QBs and all of that, while the Eagles pretty much coasted to victory there. So sad they didn't live up to the hype as many folks had. It was supposed to be a great competitive matchup the whole way through, and ended up being done pretty early. So, first off, just your thoughts in general about that game.
Yeah, I think it's really tough to take anything away from that game of substance because of Purdy going down so early in the game. They were, I guess, Purdy was the third string quarterback, right? So they were down the third string and then got to the fourth string. He also got hurt. And then you had Purdy, who had a torn UCL and couldn't even throw the ball at that point, basically handing it off and at times dumping the ball down, which I don't know how he did that with the torn.
Because we didn't know it was a torn UCL or whatever that was at the time. We just saw he had someone injured and wouldn't come back in, but was still on the sidelines in decent spirits at least. So for him to have enough adrenaline or whatever, the deer, whatever, it was stuff they loaded up into him enough to even throw a screen pass with that kind of injury. I definitely want to applaud him for even trying, because that definitely is not something to play around with. But because of the situation, they had to pull out whatever they could to make something happen. So yes, thank him for even trying to get back out there on that situation.
Yeah, and you said Purdy was in good spirits. I think the QB in the best spirits was Jimmy G over there. He was cheesing on the
sideline. He was all smiles.
He was the only one on that sideline showing all his teeth. But
that bag was secure either way. He was like, whatever, y'all be easy. Figure it out.
And we'll talk about their QB situation in a sec too. But yeah, tough to really take much away from the game. The Eagles, once again, I mean, on their own doing, they're the ones that knocked Purdy out. So salute to Hassan Reddick for making the play. They're obviously not trying to hurt him, but that severely affected the game, and it was pretty much a trouncing from then on. I think we get hopefully a much better game in this Super Bowl.
We definitely will, and we'll get more into those teams that are playing in it in a moment. But just the last thing to go to the teams that just lost for the Niners. First off, you mentioned the QBs in the situation there. Jimmy G they've made it very clear he's out the door this offseason. Purdy's going to need 6 months to recover. Probably won't be available until at least midway through or around midway of the season. That midway point of the season, it appears, with rehab and all that going on. And Trey Lance will be back, but you saw how that went out last year, not the beginning of this year. So the question is, for the Niners, do they need a sure third quarterback going into next season?
I believe they do. It's been 3 years since Trey Lance has played a full season of football.
Correct.
Because he sat his senior year, the COVID season, and has been injured the first two of his NFL career. So he's kind of he's an X factor, but he's a huge question mark. they obviously believed in the upside when they drafted him. So I think you still have to take a shot on him. I'm sure him and Purdy will probably battle it out for the QB1 spot. But I think you definitely need to bring in a third QB, because we saw what happened. They ended up needing a fifth string quarterback this year.
Exactly. Crazy.
And Trey Lance already has the injury prone tag. I think you have to give him that. So yeah, I think you need that security going forward if Jimmy G is clearly out the door. Yeah.
I talked about a few weeks ago the perdification of the league and how Brock Purdy and how he plays in this offense could have a ripple effect. And without even going that far, just with the Niners, if there is a battle again this next season, how do you think that plays out? Do you think Trey Lance can earn his spot back, or do you think because Purdy fits better into the system that they'll keep riding with him?
I feel like they would give each guy a legitimate shot. If Purdy had stayed healthy and they won the Super Bowl, I would have said you have to give him the shot.
Of course.
But because, unfortunately for him, he didn't get that chance, I think you do have to let them legitimately duke it out, and whoever plays the best in camp should that spot. Because, like I said, you drafted Trey Lance for a reason, and his upside, you believe, is higher than Purdy's.
I guess to my question, I'm trying to ask, what would best in camp mean? Does best in camp mean Trey shows flashes again that you can build on like he did at the beginning of this year? Or do you want to see that he fits into the offense like Purdy did and he's just ready to go? Like,
what would best mean?
If Lance shows he's a project again, do you still stick with Lance and ride it out, or do you just throw Purdy back in and say,
if he shows he's a project? No, I think you stick with Purdy, because Purdy already knows the system and is comfortable in it and can execute it really to a high level, even with his own limitations. So, yeah, I think you do stick with Purdy if Lance shows he still is a bit of a project, still a little bit raw. I think you want to see some development too. While he has been off the field for a lot of the regular season, he can get off-season work in this off-season, hopefully, and hopefully he's shown development. And I think he would have to be more competent than he was in his first 2 years before he got hurt, because he was very raw. He definitely showed flashes, as you said. He was very raw.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we'll see how that plays out. Hoping the best for all of them over there. Definitely a fun team that we want to see continue to have success going forward. So good stuff there. But to your point about Lance being the project, someone who is pretty much done with that project and looks like the real deal, and his stance is that Joe Burrow went into Burrowhead versus the Chiefs and couldn't get the job done. It wasn't fully his fault, but that's the reality of how the media spins things. So we'll add into it for our own fun. Yeah, the Chiefs beat the Bengals 23-20. Came to down to the last minute drive. Bengals made some mistakes in the end, allowing the Chiefs to get in position, made a field goal, and now here they are preparing for the Super Bowl this weekend. So with the Bengals getting bounced out, did they prove to us, as I've mentioned, Burrowhead and all the talk leading into it, did they prove to us that you should always let your game do the talking?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, like I'm fine. I think trash talk is fun. Like it creates villains, it creates animosity between the teams, creates some rivalries. So I think it's fun. But yeah, I just like counting your chickens before they hatch sometimes. Like it just does not work out. We knew that it felt like Mahomes was due for one, regardless of them beating them 3 times in a row and Burrow being that stamped number 2 QB at this point in his career. It still felt like Mahomes is arguably one of the best of all time and due for a win against you guys. Like there's no need to poke the bear here. You're going into their house too. So yeah, it felt like they were giving him a lot of bulletin board material. I think it was the Bengals DB who started the Burrowhead thing, and then the mayor was in on it, calling Mahomes his son and all. I was like, it was like too much. As a Burrow fan, I was like, can we please stop this?
Too much. Well, for one thing, before we get more into that question, the world is finding out what Baltimore and all the AFC North has known about Cincinnati for our whole tenure. The Bengals have been waiting to really talk their stuff, and they finally had a reason to justifiably do so. They've been the annoying, as I said, the annoying little brother for a while now that have had the machismo, wherever how you want to just describe it, have had that in them, but haven't had any reason to justify it. Now that they have a good team to back it up, they're just going crazy. So The mayor's in on it. All the players are on it. It's all a mess. So we've known that, and they got what they've been asking for in a way. So it is what it is.
Yeah. You had to know that it wasn't a foregone conclusion you were going to win that game. You were going up against one of the best of all time and a damn near dynasty in Kansas City. I mean, they've been to the AFC Championship game, 5 years in a row?
Yeah.
So you had to know it wasn't necessarily going to go your way, even if you were talking. So, I mean, I guess credit to them for still having that confidence. But when it doesn't go your way, you got to eat it. And
exactly.
Kelsey was happy to talk that trash right back after they got the W. I think he called the marriage a brony.
Yep.
It was funny as hell.
He said, sit your head down, do your job.
Mahomes' dad was talking about smoking on that Burrow pack and all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they set themselves up for it.
Very nasty. Again, and to that question, I'm very, very pro trash talk in context. All regular season, trash talk, every which ways you want to do it, poke whatever bear you want to poke at, all that. When it's time to get serious, let the play talk. So y'all didn't talk all the way up to this point. Now we know it's serious. Now you know you're going against we see what the hype is about Mahomes and Kelsey and them being Hall of Famers already. If y'all want to debate that, you're not gonna lose.
Not really a debate,
so seeing what is over there, poking that bear in this moment was really time to lock in. All the talk should stop. And let your play prove what may be in your head as you go into those games. So I think it was a mistake to poke that bear, and it backfired. Whether it wasn't, even though it fully wasn't because of some Chiefs dominant performance, it was the Bengals getting in their own way. The reality is, however it happened, the Chiefs found a way to win, and the Burrowhead has now been laid to rest. And
I hope they don't call it that anymore.
That's done with. So it is what it is, and excited to see how things going forward. So that was a little quick preview, a discussion of the teams that lost. Now going to the teams that are here in it. Again, very excited for this game on Sunday. Definitely going to be a great one. We have one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best defense right now. I believe they're ranked number one, or they were, versus the top offense. It's going to be two close to juggernaut teams going up against each other. Though there are some health concerns on both sides, they still should be able to put up performances there, and I'm excited to see how it plays. What side you want to start on first, and as you jump into it, Alec?
I mean, let's start with the Eagles, I guess.
Let's do it. So
we had a lot of discussion about them this year.
There's been a lot of talk about the Eagles all season long, and I guess we'll go to the end to, I guess, explain more of our breakdown, and my question will clarify that. The question is, would the Eagles' easy path discredit their win if they happen to do so on Sunday?
I don't think it discredits their win for a couple reasons. One, you play who's in front of you. They didn't make the schedule. They didn't choose the easier opponents. The NFC was kind of nasty in general this year. There wasn't a whole lot of juggernauts beyond them and the 49ers when healthy. So I think they clearly were one of the best teams in the NFC. And regardless, even if they had a little bit tougher schedule, I think they still potentially could have been in this spot regardless. And then two, I think you play to get the 1 seed in the playoffs, and they earned that 1 seed and thus got an easier road in the playoffs.
Right.
Everyone is striving to get that so they can have an easier road. You don't want to have to play the hardest team. You won't mind it. You play who's in front of you in the playoffs too, but you would like to get the 1 seed and the home field advantage and all of that. So they took care of business in the regular season, earned that 1 seed, and ended up getting an easier road in the playoffs, and are probably playing the best team in the AFC on the other side. So now is the real final test. They haven't really been tested all season now.
As I told you, you called them frauds kind of all season long. They were there alongside the Vikings and others as a team you put in that fraud tier. So you don't have any. You don't. Discredit them again, as I said, for
not so much, because they were different level of fraud to me. The Vikings were real frauds because I thought they just weren't a good team, but the Eagles more so weren't tested by their schedule at all. So it was more so, have we seen a team with a good defense go up against them? Have we seen them perform against a really good defense? I mean, we saw them lose to the Commanders, who had a pretty good pass rush and pretty good defense earlier in the year. So I was just looking forward to seeing them actually get tested, and we thought we'd get it last week. We didn't. So this is the true test when for all the marbles now. So we'll see.
I'm glad we're on the same page in that thought. The ifs are only valid for so long, if ever. Like there are a lot of teams that are saying, well, if this happened, it's like, all right, bro, well, it didn't. So we got what you want us to do. We can't swap y'all out. So a lot of excuses that could be made by other teams just are what they are, excuses, and we gotta just put them on the bed and accept with this team for who they are and acknowledge what they proved, even with whatever else went on around them. They were a team. We talked about in NFL a whole lot, in NBA, wherever we discuss it. The league is about who can say healthiest and all that. And
you need a little bit of luck too, yeah.
And all of that continued to swing in the Eagles' way. And so now here they are. I could very much talk about how if the Ravens had Lamar and not, it's like they're not. So it is what it is. So do want to tip the hat to the Eagles for finding a way to put all the right things together to stay afloat as they did and be the top tier team as they are going into this game. I'm interested to see what will transpire with them. So who do you think? Oh yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
And it's a credit to Nick Sirianni as well. Coming in last year, I think they came off like a 4-win season, and he got them into the playoffs with the late season run.
Right.
They got embarrassed in the playoffs, but they came back and had a number 1 seed regular season. And that I think that's a huge credit to him in a quick turnaround that they were able to do with this team, and Jalen Hurts as well leading the way. So yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Jalen going into this game? You think he is be the reason why they get the job done, or you think the X factor is somewhere else?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Like I said pre-show, I really hadn't made my pick yet.
Yeah,
it's a tough matchup.
Again, just looking at the Eagles, who you think is most important for this team to succeed in this game versus the Chiefs?
I do think it's gonna have to be a good portion of Jalen, just because I think he's still, while he proved he can put together a great regular season, MVP caliber regular season had he stayed healthy. I think for a lot of people, including me, I'd like to see him prove it on a big stage in the playoffs. And as I said, like they didn't get tested by the Giants. They blew out the 49ers with their fourth string guy. So I'd like to see him put up a great performance in a huge Super Bowl game of this magnitude, put up the near 300 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. Obviously, he's got the dual threat ability too. But yeah, I'd like to see a big game out of him. I think a big game out of him secures the win for them because they are so complete. The defense is great. The offensive line is the best in football. Mm-hmm. They got pieces. It's just a very well-crafted roster. But he's the X factor that takes it over the top. So I'd love to see him show it in a big game against good competition.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking up just what the defense has been doing all season long, and they haven't allowed many shootouts. So they've been holding teams under 20, 25 points most games. So, if the defense can continue to do its thing as it's been doing, obviously that's crucial, especially against Mahomes. Then on the other side, if you can't answer back, then it still could end leading defeat. So, So, I think Hurts is going to be a crucial part of this. I think he's a special talent. Again, we've done our rankings all season long and had him pretty high up on those charts most of the time. And I think he'll continue to prove why he is that. There are a lot of people that still, even this year, because of the schedule and all of that, still were doubting Hurts and they're kind of putting him in the same lane as not Stetson, as Purdy, in that he had a whole team around him and things were set up. Bro,
that's not the same.
Clearly, it's not the same. So, I hope he continues to show out and has a great game. And I think he'll definitely be an X factor that really will be the deciding factor on if they win this or not. So,
one of the knocks on him was his passing, as they like to knock on black quarterbacks as a whole. But he significantly improved his passing from last year to this year in completion. I think he's shown strides. Like he's shown that he can improve. So I don't think this is like the peak of Jalen Hurts. I think he can still get better. But I'd love to see him do it in this game and kind of stamp himself as true franchise guy, top 5 guy.
Yeah. That was the last thing I was going to say, actually. I don't fully label him as a running quarterback.
Nah, dual threat. Dual threat, yeah.
There have been a lot of folks, excuse me, there have been a lot of folks that have been saying, oh, this might be the first time ever we have a running quarterback win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, Jalen been passing all year long, as good as anybody.
Yeah.
We've had individually, we had our him zone. I've had multiple weeks at my play of the week. It's Jalen Hurts dime to somebody in the corner, drops the ball in the bucket, and somebody makes a big play. Jalen Hurts has been throwing the heck out of the ball all season long and deserves a lot more credit in that regard. There are a lot of folks, because of the racial aspect and wherever the case may be, which we'll get to a little bit to later on, still want to just label him as a runner, despite what he may be doing through the air. And I want to say he is definitely a dual threat, which is even becoming a lost label in the new NFL, as most quarterbacks are expanding their game in that regard. You don't see a lot any more bricks thriving in the league, or even in the league anymore.
As you were talking, I was gonna say I don't really think of anyone in the league as a running quarterback. Probably Justin Fields. Like that's probably the only one at this point.
And even that was because he had nobody on the outside.
Right.
When he was throwing the ball, he could throw it. So I think that label is being lost, and that I think that's just what the modern NFL is for quarterbacks. You don't see many of those bricks, as I've been calling them, being drafted anymore. A lot of these guys have at least some versatility to them. We're seeing all that old guard, the Matt Staffors keep getting hurt. Tom Brady is finally retired officially, I believe. Guys like that are now things of the past, and all these new guys. Mahomes can move as good as anybody. Herbert can move. Burrow shows he can run the ball when he's run the ball, and all of that. So, am I there? Okay, So I think that even labeling guys dual quarterbacks is becoming a lost term, as this is what the NFL is. I think that Hurts should just mold into that rather than folks continue to label him as a runner, as they've been doing so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So excited to see how they continue to shake narratives and things in that regard for the Eagles there as they go in this game. Now going to the other side with the Chiefs, they have some injury things going on still. They have Mahomes' ankles is concerned. Then I think the running backs have some issues going on. McKinnon or somebody like that has an ankle issue or something like that, or whatever the case. But outside of that, they, at least from their media run they've been doing this week, everybody says they're ready to go and excited for this game. So, what do you think about the Chiefs heading to this game? And do you think that Mahomes can work some more magic?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you talked about the Eagles' defense hasn't really given up shootouts. I think the Chiefs can still put up 20 plus on them. Maybe it's not a huge score, but Mahomes is going to figure out a way to get the ball to Kelsey, get the ball in the end zone. And he's been spreading it around all season, so it doesn't have to just be Kelsey. I was just checking on the players to see like who was out, if anybody. I don't think anyone major on there.
Nobody out. I think Hardman went back to the. I think Mecole Hardman maybe out again.
Yeah, Hardman's on the IR. But I was gonna say last week they did have like 3 wide receivers go down, and they still won the game.
Right.
Mahomes still figured it out. They were playing with like 3 tight ends at one point. So
exactly,
I trust them to be able to put points on the board. I think it's more so going to be about how much the Chiefs defense can hold up against the Eagles offense. I trust Andy Reid, trust Bieniemy, trust Kelsey and Mahomes.
I do too. And then we've talked about how great they are. We talked about them being Hall of Fame guys and all that stuff. In the same way, we asked a kind of a legacy question, I guess, about the Eagles. That's a legacy question about the Chiefs. What a win cement Mahomes as a top 5 quarterback ever already. There's been a lot of talk about that all week long. What do you think?
I think so. You briefly mentioned, I think he's already a Hall of Famer. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer to me. He already has the 1 Super Bowl ring, the MVP, the 5,000 yard passing season. He's clearly I think the number 1 talent at QB we've ever seen. But adding another Super Bowl to the resume, I think that does jump you into that top 5 conversation right now. Because he's not the GOAT right now, but I think he can be.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that would cement him as a top 5 QB ever.
Yeah. I was frustrated. I had to acknowledge the greatness because early on in his career, he's beating up my Ravens a few times and we couldn't get past him. And I think that was also when he debuted the no-look pass. That was versus us, I believe, throwing the Tyreek Hill and stuff. And I was going crazy. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I was mad watching that. So ever since then, he's been one of, if not, as you said, the best quarterback I've ever seen play and followed in some regard. So to already have that early on in his career, and continue to have even more impressive performances since then. We talked about last week how the Bucs were in awe during his Super Bowl performance when they lost. Like a year or two ago. So yeah, he clearly is the most talented we've seen. Now continue to rack up the accolades to follow with it. So yeah, I think if he finds a way to win this game where he may have receivers out, in all the case may be, a lot of people are describing it as Eagles versus Mahomes. It's not Eagles versus Chiefs. It's Eagles versus Mahomes. And can the Eagles withstand whatever Mahomes magic he pulls out in this game? So because of that, yeah, if Mahomes finds a way yet again, we definitely have to tip the cap to him and say that he is one of those top guys. Because even all the guys they already list now, as great as they are, none of them. Well, I don't want to say that too crazy, but like the wow factor isn't as he's just the best I've seen. He's already
he's been to 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, 6 years,
right?
Like I said, 5 straight AFC Championship games.
I guess what I was trying to say to sneak some Brady hate in, even in Brady's wins, like it was just like, why aren't you? It wasn't like a wow. It was more of a just like, come on, dude, like really. So,
I think Brady's signature thing is like the fourth quarter drive, like the comeback, because like he's pretty like nails in those ice in his veins. That like you don't want to let Brady get the ball late. It's the same thing with Mahomes now too. Like he's like the new Brady in that way.
Yeah.
But Brady wasn't like wowing you with like 400 yards passing and
even when he was, his throws weren't crazy. He wasn't running around finding ways to.
They had really good defenses too. Like
he just ran things the right way.
The Super Bowls he won, a lot of times they had top 10 defensive units, and Belichick's the defensive guy. So they were complete, the rosters. Like Mahomes and Spagnuolo and the defense, as I said, they pick it up in the playoffs, but they're not usually like top 10 units in the league. So he does more with a little bit less for sure.
So that I guess I think we got that point out clearly. If not, then so be it. But I guess the last thing I wanted to kind of do with that question, take a small step back with it, because as I said, we've been seeing it all week long. We see it also in the NBA. We just had LeBron pass the all-time scorer, Kareem. He just broke that record. There's all these talks about who's the best and who ranks here and who ranks where and all of that. And we have, as we've said, we are casuals at times and kind of just chill out as we watch things. So for fellow casuals that maybe watching stuff like, why do they care so much about these rankings? Why do they care so much about legacy? I hear legacy all week long. Whenever I turn the TV on, that's all they care about. It's like, well, why does that debate even matter to begin with? Like, what does that even imply when we continue to have these debates?
Yeah, well, I think for the fan aspect, I think as fans, we gravitate towards certain guys and form a connection. While they don't know about our existence, we grow a huge affection for them and appreciation, reverence for them. So I think when you have guys that like a LeBron, like a Mahomes, like when you see guys that potentially could be the greatest ever and you get to watch it up close for yourself in your lifetime, I think it's a special thing. And we get into the culture, the fan culture where I like this guy, so I kind of have to like put this guy down in order for my guy to be elevated, kind of thing. So that's why you get all those arguments and debates. But truthfully, we should appreciate the greatness that's before us, even if we're not huge fans of individual guys, because I think you are witnessing history when you have a guy like a Mahomes, who we argue about. Is he top 5 right now? He potentially could be the greatest ever. And being able to say you saw him, tell your kids, like I watched this dude. I think it's a pretty cool thing. So
to put some slight history to it, I won't fully nerd out, but I believe in the 90s, I think they crowned Michael Jordan as the GOAT, or folks had said that pretty emphatic across sports. So with him, I guess, birthing the whole GOAT debate, it spread everywhere, and then it just became a thing where, oh, you'll call him the GOAT, but I think this guy's better than him, and all of that, and that's where it started, and it's just spiraled into just madness as we see it in the modern sports media world. So that's kind of way originated from. And now today, we try to have not just debate it for the sake of it like they do, but honestly want to look at it too and just be like, again, just praising those that came before us, acknowledging what we see in front of us as well, with guys like Mahomes who are playing at a level that parallels that of the greats before us too. So that's where it all came from. And just want to do a quick, just I guess, description or breakdown of why that even matters to begin with. So that was that.
I think real quick too, I think like from the player side, I think just putting themselves in that conversation is good enough, because as we talked about, the fans are going to debate. So like, you're not going to have a consensus GOAT really. Like MJ probably was that for a while, but then you got guys like Kobe and LeBron come after. So guys are always going to be. Go for it.
I was going to say that too. There's no official list anywhere. I know NBA might put out a list. There's no Hall of Fame list about who ranks where.
Exactly.
It's all just for our entertainment.
Right. So for the players, I think just putting themselves in that conversation to be talked about as the best ever is good enough, because you're not going to have 100% of people saying he's the GOAT kind of thing.
Right.
It's always going to be a debate. It's always going to be fun. So
there's that, and now there's trolls everywhere too. As y'all know, I like to poke at things at times as well. So with all of that, it is what it is. But just a lot of good stuff to look at all around. Now as we continue to look beyond the game, or further things in the game that we wanted to highlight. Again, we've talked a whole lot about Mahomes and his greatness. We talked about the impact that Hurts could have, and many people are talking about how this is a game that we're having our first Super Bowl with two black quarterbacks. Is this actually a monumental thing? Should fans actually care about this? And what does this mean for the league as well?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I saw, I believe it was Michael Irvin who asked Hurts and Mahomes about it individually, what it meant to them to be the first two quarterbacks, black quarterbacks, playing against each other in the Super Bowl. And I think they both had an appreciation for making history in that way. I think it's huge for young black boys who like want to play quarterback and have seen the quarterbacks get labeled as runners and turned into running backs, wide receivers, or whatever when they get to the highest level, because of old framework of old white men thinking of what a traditional quarterback is and can be. I think they've rewritten the narrative on what that can be, as you talked about. Hurts is not just a runner, and Mahomes is very much a dual threat in himself as well, and arguably one of the best of all time already. So I think it's great for them to be on that stage, on that platform for young black kids to see and aspire to do the same. And for guys like in college and high school right now too, to get their opportunity as well. Because I'm sure there's a lot of talent that can get to that level. Maybe not Mahomes, because he maybe would have won, but Hurts is a perfect example of someone who's worked really hard to make himself an elite QB. So,
I agree. It matters because it shows us that it's attainable for us, that we don't just have to come in immediately be pigeonholed into a certain label. As I mentioned, they tried to do with Jalen Hurts and what he's done. We overcome whatever labels to try to put onto us and have the ultimate success and get to the biggest of games as well. So definitely an important feat. To see both ways that it was done. Seeing the talent that Mahomes has that definitely deserves all praise. And seeing the work ethic that Hurts had and how he built himself up. Even going beyond just what we see this year, his whole career has been very noted. We saw him Alabama, Oklahoma, and all the bouncing around he's done to get where he is today. Definitely showing folks that you can achieve the greatest success if you continue to put the hard work in and have patience with yourself and know that your time will come. So salute to both of them for that. Hopefully Lamar is next in the Baltimore jersey. Hopefully, but just definitely a great thing to see there. there are for the league as well. I guess it's the same message, just that you can have we've talked about a Geno Smith on your roster, whoever the case, and not think that you have a certain ceiling because he's there. And you believe that okay, we can have a Geno Smith or whoever. I'm blanking. Guys like we can have like quarterbacks on our roster and still be competitive and have aspirations to get to the Super Bowl. So it's very important for fans in the league alike. I'm excited that we get to have it this year. And excited to celebrate them going forward. So
and I'll say too that like black quarterbacks individually have made it to the Super Bowl, of course. This is the first time we're seeing two against each other, and I think it just shows how like it's kind of a new wave of QB and a new style of playing the position and what the game is moving towards. I think when you get two of the several black quarterbacks being the final two in the last game, it shows where the game can go and is going.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm very excited to watch that. We've done all this talking. We've done all these circling around about the game and previews and all of that. We haven't made picks yet.
No. I still really haven't made my pick, to be honest.
Here we are, though. This is our preview for the game, though. I know it's only Wednesday for us, but people will be watching this leading up to it all weekend long. So we got to do it. So here we are officially. Alec, who you got for your Super Bowl pick? You going with Hurts or you going with Mahomes? Eagles or Chiefs? Who you got there?
Man, like you said, I think it is a little bit more Eagles versus Mahomes than it is strictly Hurts versus Mahomes. It's a really balanced roster for the Eagles. Man, I could see this game going either way, but I don't want to bet against Mahomes 2 weeks in a row. Saw what he did on a bum ankle in 2 straight weeks, really, and was still able to get the job done against a really good Bengals team and good Bengals defense too. So Mahomes, we know, has been tested against good defenses, and we know he can produce against them. And the Eagles and Hurts is just a slight question mark that they haven't proved it against a real elite defense yet. So I'm going to go with who I trust the most at this point in Mahomes and the Chiefs, but would not be shocked if the Eagles got it done.
Yeah, we both are torn on this. We're trying to figure out picks. I put you on first because I was trying to think of an answer myself. As I mentioned a few times now, I'm in the Eagles' house. My dad's an Eagles fan. He's been trying to make sure
you're going to say the right thing now.
All week long. Man, hey, you're going for the Eagles, right? I'm like, yeah.
Right. In the backyard.
So I haven't made an official pick, but I guess now that we're here in the moment, it's hard to go against Mahomes, man. It's hard. But I think I'm gonna do it. Okay. As great as Mahomes is, as great as Kelsey is, and that team is, as hard it is to root against the magic that they have over there. Seeing the story, I guess being a fan of Hurts as much as we talked about him and things, and want to see his success. I like a lot of the guys over there. Son Rake, who we didn't even mention yet. Rake is great. AJ Brown is great. Devontae Smith is great. There's a lot of guys over there that I enjoy rooting for. While you see them get a ring. And seeing also, I guess another question we add in the ripple effect of what could come because of their victory. Seeing what that could mean for other teams and how they put things together. Seeing how it could inspire a Ravens squad to be like, okay, we have a quarterback of a similar style. If we put a number 1 receiver around them and a sure number 2 around them and support. It could really lead us to the Super Bowl as we could have even done this year. Had we
Ravens front office should get that message already.
They should have, but if this is what they need to fully convince them of what to do with Lamar and the team going forward, then I'm gonna go with the Eagles for what it means for them and what could come as a result too. So I'm gonna roll with the Eagles in this one. It's not a lock. I'm not gonna be fully rooting against Mahomes. I'm gonna enjoy his greatness, but if the Eagles win, I think I'll be a lot more excited for them than I will if Mahomes finds a way again as great as he is too. So rolling with Philly in this one. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I got no dog in the fight, really. Like this is one of those games where I'm like, I'm happy with whoever wins. To be honest, I just want a good game. Like I want a good competitive game.
I guess I'll sneak this in too to go to our last segment. If I'm putting money down, I'm putting money on Mahomes. But for fans' sake, I'll be in here rooting for the Eagles, and we'll see how that plays out. So I'm not that dumb. Let's not get crazy. The money's on Mahomes, but the heart, the heart, you guys can have that, whatever. So very excited to see how that plays. And to the point about money and things, one of the last thing we've done, as we've done the last few weeks now, looking at Prizepicks and some of the odds they have for the game. There's gonna be some fun stuff to potentially put your money down on. A big one, our two quarterbacks we've mentioned, Mahomes plus Hurts, 3.5 TDs. You can over on that, you can under. How you feel about Mahomes and Hurts getting over 3 touchdowns in this game?
3.5. I'll take the over. I could see 2 from Hurts, 2 from Mahomes.
Yeah, and then it said just TDs. It didn't say passing or rushing. It could come either way.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Then I would definitely take the over.
Yeah. If I looked at that correct, that's how they have it. So I for sure take the over in that one. This seems like an easy bet. So definitely cash that. A fun one. A part that we didn't fully talk about. We got the two brothers at the QB position, but there's also two brothers in the game beyond that. Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce on the Chiefs and the Eagles are going to be against each other. I think it's the first matchup of brothers playing against each other in the Super Bowl. So they'll be excited for them as well. Excited for that. And because of how notable they both are, they have a great podcast and stuff and all this good stuff going on. They had their mom on and the split jerseys, whatever. So they're very notable and excited for that. With that, Prizepicks putting a bet for them. Kelce plus Kelce, 1 touchdown in this game, or half a touchdown between them in this game. You think Travis or Jason somehow at the center position finds a way into the end zone this week?
Yeah, I think Jason gets in there. Gets one in there on a trick play. I'll say over.
Yeah, I think Travis will get in there. He's going to be a key cog in that Chiefs offense with receivers bounce around as they've been. Kelce's been the sure lock. He's the Hall of Famer, as we've mentioned plenty of times now. So, he for sure gets that. Moving on, Hassan Reddick was the star of the show. I mean, in that game last week versus the Niners, and seeing how dominant he was on defense, along with all those around him, definitely what was the impact, was the reason why they ran away with this game. Literally because of the injury, but even beyond that, they were shutting things down either way. So, Hassan Reddick, 3 tackles or assists. You think he gets over 3 of those in the Super Bowl?
I don't really know what his stats look like whether that's like average for him or not. But
I think it's about average. He's he's been very present all postseason at least for sure. And I'm sure it's been similar in the regular season too. So it's very possible.
I take too many overs, so I'll say under.
I hear you on that, but because they have assists in there also, I think he gets in on some pileups or whatever, then they make him over. So I'll give him the 3 on that. I think he gets over. In the same kind of lane, Chris Jones is a key cog in that Chiefs defense. They have him at 3.5. So you got him at 3.5 or getting to 4 tackles or assists.
Yeah, he's a game changer too. Both of him and Reddick are game changers. That's just tackles.
Tackles plus assists.
I'll go under. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I think because he doesn't have as much help around him as Reddick does on the defense, they're gonna be keyed in on Chris Jones and wanting to hold him down however they can. So they'll probably be going away from him most of the game and all of that. So I think he gets just under that. So definitely a good one. And the last one, AJ Brown or Devontae, or AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are both put at 5 receptions. Do you think either of them gets over 5 receptions?
I said last week was going to be the game they needed to, and then they got the blowout early.
No need.
I think one of them does. I don't know which one though. It's kind of hard to predict like who gets the most targets in that offense. I think one of them does. I'll say Devontae gets the over 5.
We've kind of been saying that. We keep on saying about how AJ Brown will be keyed on, so Devontae will get more shine. I think AJ actually finds his way to really stamp himself as the star we all know him to be, but under the brightest lights. And I think he finds a way to get over that 5. So I'll take AJ over 5. I'll take Devontae under the 5. Actually, I don't think they both get it. I'll take 1. I'll go with AJ there. And excited to see how that plays. So good stuff across the board there. Again, enjoy Prizepicks and all that. We'd love to get us a sponsorship deal or whatever the case may be. I'll throw that out there just as blunt as I can be. So yeah, good stuff across there. Let's get to the end here. The last things that I had. Any halftime requests? I know I'm just here for where to go over here. I'm just here for Riri as I post on the thing I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Any requests from her? Any songs that on your mind that you want to make sure she performs?
I mean, I've been listening to Anti a lot more recently.
Yep.
That was an album that I slept on when it came out. It obviously had a couple of hits, but
I'm glad you've awoken, my brother. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, I love Rihanna. I didn't know how great like that album was to me personally.
Go ahead and dive into that catalog. There's some good stuff there.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel bad for the players that want to see the show that their coaches won't let them watch. But
I saw somebody asked Sirianni, like, "Hey, is there any chance that somebody goes out there?" He was like, "No."
He didn't even entertain it at all. Like he was like all business.
Horrible.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think. Now let me leave it alone.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You about to have a Giannis moment? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, okay. Understood.
I didn't have a fully formed thought, but it was along the lines of Giannis when J-Lo and Shakira were out there.
Salute to Giannis. We understand. You're about to have another moment again. Might want to change the channel. So, yeah, good stuff there. Very excited for that. And the last thing for fun we'll throw in, food obviously is crucial for the Super Bowl as well. What do you, are you a wing guy for the Super Bowl? What do you go to for the Super Bowl?
Love a good wing. Got to get some chips and dip to start for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm a pizza dude, so like I like pizza. Get some sliders in there if you want to get adventurous.
Like a full entree,
a smorgasbord, you know. Exactly.
No, just give me a big bucket of wings with some ranch or whatever, and I'm straight.
Since you're the wing guy, I'll ask you blue cheese or ranch.
Oh, ranch easily. Oh my god,
all right.
I can't do blue cheese. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a thing, or I don't know, but I can't do blue cheese at all. It just doesn't register for me. So I'm glad.
All right, we're good.
What's next in line after that? You buffalo or barbecue?
Both. Oh yeah, either one. We're rocking. Lemon pepper is the goat for me. So.
Well, that's for on the wing. I'm saying as a dip. Would you have a buffalo something on the side somewhere? Are you a honey mustard guy? Would you go with? What else is on the side for you?
The ranch would be the dip for me. So like the creamy with the sauce. But yeah, like buffalo, barbecue, all that. Just anything but blue cheese. Get that out of here.
We can agree on that. I'm cool with that. I don't have any hot takes about wings or anything this time around. When you have your wings, you like them the dry rub or you like them like wet? I was trying to find another way to ask it, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I feel like I probably prefer dry rub with dip.
Okay, now we're different. Get sauce it up.
But I like both. I like both though. So
yeah. I ain't gonna say it again, but I prefer it with a little extra on there. So yeah, good across the board.
On your wings, I respect it.
Yeah, but very excited for all that's going on Super Bowl weekend. Any commercial hopes or anything like that? The last moment.
I know they're supposed to be dropping like a couple of trailers. Like I know they're supposed to drop a new Flash trailer, so I'm interested to see that.
I don't know if I'm watching dude. Dude's been acting up for a while now.
He has, but apparently, like they're talking this movie up like it's one of the best like superhero movies of all time.
They're saving his ass. So I guess so.
Like with
speaking of saving, The Last of Us has been special.
Oh yeah, no, it's been great.
Yeah, that's been great. I'm glad they bumped it to Friday, so we had a moment of a piece to watching and do that. That was a great call on them. Pedro and them, they handling business. I'm on board.
That's appointment television for sure. HBO's got Sundays on lock for sure.
Right.
Friday this week, but yeah, I was gonna say like with the Flash, the way he's been acting up, like just in the world, like the movie must be great if they didn't just scrap it completely.
Of course, they have to be. So I'll tune in. Excited for the commercial. Did you see the White Man Can't Jump remake?
I saw the teaser for that. Like people were kind of shitting on it, but
I want Jack Harlow arrested. I don't know what that was,
He's got
man.
charisma, man. I think it could be fun. I didn't expect a 9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, I ain't gonna completely hate on it. The commercials didn't entice me as I thought they would. But I think Vince Staples and others are going to be in it, so I'm very excited to see them. And yeah, just a lot of good stuff going forward.
Can I confess something?
Oh God,
I haven't seen the original White Man Can't Jump.
Oh my God, what?
I'm sorry.
What have you seen?
I just haven't got to it.
Haven't got to it. That's a classic. What are we talking about? We had Josiah on the pod. His dad was in the movie.
It's not like yeah, I know. That's
oh
bad.
My God.
It's not a classic like great movie.
It's enough of a classic. It's enough in the social
right.
discussion that it's something you should see at least once.
For sure. I'm gonna have to watch it.
White Man Can't Jump, Friday, all that kind of stuff. Make that should be one time in your life. Go ahead and just cross that off, just so you understand the references and go from there. So come on now, watch that. Yeah, we're done here. Thank y'all for tuning back in. Excited for the Super Bowl show. They're gonna be a great one. Excited for the halftime show and all that is gonna be coming with it. We'll be jumping further into NBA discussions after that, with the NFL wrapping up. Excited to talk more about the Lakers, who we just reacted to, and all the other things going on in LA and across the world of sports. So, good stuff here. Appreciate you for tuning back in. Subscribe to the show wherever you tune in. Follow us online, IG, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. We are definitely popping, and we're excited to continue to build with you guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys again next week. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Deuces.